And the ocean above them compacted it into rock that formed limestone. So that boulder got surrounded by limestone. So this stuff on the outside of the boulder is limestone. It's porous. You can see it's got little tiny little holes. You can even see some, if you look carefully with a microscope, you see the crustaceans in there. Their skeletons are still there, right? But the boulder itself is harder, so it retained its shape. Then, millions of years go by, this land gets lifted by volcanic activity, right? Same volcanic activity that created Mount Diablo, Mount Tam, and so on. The fault lines and all that stuff is crunching, and it's like a piece of paper that's crumpling and going up, right? So now we're above sea level. It starts to rain, and fresh water begins to slowly dissolve the limestone around the boulder, creating the cave, and then over a period of time exposing the rock itself, the boulder itself. So you're looking at a process that, you know, is geological in scope. It's millions and millions of years. In addition to which, of course, it's on the slopes of Mount Diablo, so we know what that means already from being up at the top. And in a sacred little oak grove. And there's all kinds of resonances, yes, yes. Traditional people would have called this a heart, for obvious reasons. In Peru, near the city of Cusco, there is a place called it's called the Temple of the Monkey. It's kind of a wrong name, of course. There's no monkeys in that part of Peru, but they thought they saw monkeys carved on the rock, but it's actually eagles and condors. Anyway, at this particular temple, which is an open-air temple like this one, there is a very similar cave with a rock a little bit smaller, held in a limestone kind of, you know, cluster, and it's referred to as the heart of the condor. And that rock happens to be a ruby, so it's bright red, and it's surrounded by turquoise and a kind of mixture that's green, so it's a beautiful coloring. It's even more beautiful than this. It's smaller. But the Inca, of course, being mythically minded and symbolically minded, automatically connected to the heart of the condor, and the myth that the condor ripped its own heart to heal people, blah, blah, blah. So there it is, it's exposed, and so on. So traditional peoples would have seen something like this that automatically resonated with the heart of the mountain, the heart of the mythic animal. Of course, in this case, the one in Peru is not egg-shaped. It's kind of clustery-like. But this one, clearly being an egg, would automatically also resonate with fertility, reproduction, and beginning of life. Also the embryonic nature of reality before it becomes apparent. So in feng shui terms, it would be the fue, you know, the initial stage before manifestation. So that's what you're looking at. All of a sudden, oh. And it's a Mount Diablo facing Mount Tam in a sacred grove. We don't have time, but if you keep going down this trail down the other side, some beautiful esplanades that would have been perfect for ceremony and ritual, and I'm sure the natives you talked about. And a place like this is highly sacred, so you really cannot talk about it. And we're trying to put a number to it. So for most people, if you take a reading in terms of the movie scale, you're going to end up with a higher number than Mount Diablo. That number, or that even the place in the scale, doesn't actually mean anything. All it's telling you is that it is definitely of a different order as the form of Mount Diablo. Another way to read it is if you simply ask your rod to tell you what's happening here. Typically a rod will start to do this. It's not a reading, right? It's not a yes or a no. It's just like a, oh my God! And the rod's just doing that. So in places like this, it's important to remember that feng shui is divided into early heaven and later heaven, right? So early heaven is all about the sacredness of the landscape, and it's about landscape in this kind of 10,000 years ago landscape. Whereas the later heaven is about what happens when people build cities and homes and have families, and it's ordinary consciousness. We're not in that position right now. So the question is, could people survive in a landscape like this one? And if so, under what circumstances? What do you guys think? Could you survive out here?
It'd be hard to sleep.
It'd be hard to sleep. First of all, you have to know how to survive in this environment.